Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. So a lot of people have been asking me, what does endgame consist of in Devilian? Pohx, tell me about endgame. I want to know, I want to know, I want to know. And, now, because, I'd never give you guys misinformation, I have reached level cap at level 54, where it's going to be played around with, they're changing stuff up. I know it's an odd level. We're in alpha right now. But, I'm kind of here to talk to you guys a little bit of what endgame in Devilian has to offer you. Now, please note that, again, we are in very, very, very early stages of the game. Even though the game is technically finished, it's just being translated. More content is still yet to come. So we're still at, a very early stage in the game's development. So what you can see right here is me and my buddies are speedrunning some purgatory dungeons, which is like the first step into gearing up, which I'll show you guys and explain and whatnot here very shortly. But these are how some of the dungeons are run. If this type of stuff interests you, it's very fun. It's very quick. It's very fast-paced if you choose to make it fast-paced. And the game offers amazing group synergy when playing with other players. Since you don't have a healer class in this game, there's no official tanking class, you know what I mean? Everyone's skills kind of group benefit each other. So like knockdowns, slows, stuns, anyone with like a utility heal, all of it becomes so valued. Then you can actually stack buffs on top of each other and overlap these buffs. I don't know if you notice, you'll probably see it here when I'm with my buddy, not the other cannoneer. You notice we'll both pop our sprints at the same time, and the movement speed will actually stack, and you can just like go zoom and just shoot across the screen. I'll just show, let me just make sure, we'll see if this clip actually plays. Let's see here. In before no. In before no. Oh, do I wait? Let's see, am I gonna be a scumbag? Oh, I'm gonna do it. We're gonna wait. Okay, check this out. So here's regular movement speed. Sprint 1, sprint 2. Look at us go. Zoom, zoom. And you can actually do some other stuff too. But that's pretty much that. So let's talk to you guys about how, some of this endgame will actually work and how it actually gets applied here. So, ba-da-bum, 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 bum, bum. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. That didn't work. Oh well, we'll just stick with this. Oh, we're in the wrong scene. Derp. Derp-a-derp. Alright, we're good now. Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again, Kappa. So, today, let's go ahead and show you guys the end game. So, you've got stages into gearing. Alright, so, if you go to your arenas all the way down here at the bottom, so right here, you've got dungeons, alright? Now, you've got a bunch of different dungeons you can see here. Now, some of these will overlap. You'll have, like, heroic, then purgatory, etc. So anyway, you've got your heroics, which is like your heroics you do for blue gear. Once you get full-on blue gear, then you have the ability to run purgatory dungeons, like so. So I'm just gonna enter a dungeon, not actually to enter it, but you can see all the loot that actually drops in here. When you run your purgatory dungeons, you've got a drop-down menu here. This drop-down menu will allow you to run the dungeon on an even harder difficulty, still in purgatory, for extra drops. Each dungeon is categorized each dungeon is categorized with an element. So you can see elemental prison is ice. The whole theme of the dungeon is based off of ice damage. If you go to your resistance sheet, which you can see in your additional information and pull it up, you actually have to craft resistance potions for yourself, which will permanently be enabled. They're there forever. So ideally, you can actually farm one dungeon over and over and over to nearly cap out your resistances to make the dungeon much more easy to run to farm your gear. Since each one of these dungeons actually drops all the same gear. This is your first set of gearing up. This is your Phantasm. For me, it's a Phantasm set. Now, later on, there are raids that come out. I don't even have a piece of this gear yet, but there's raids that come out which offers better gear, which is orange past this, and it's huge because if you look at the difference now, so you can see my blue gear adds 3 stats on the right. It's max health, penetration, and penetration chance, because you gotta have penetration IRL, right? The Phantasm Sandals is 4 pieces, so you get an entire extra stat. The piece above that is 5 stats, so you've got 5 stats to roll. Now, of course, in this game, your stats roll completely random. I think certain stats are locked to certain pieces, like you can't get, your main attribute of dexterity everywhere. However, this is where the next part of the interesting thing of the game comes into. So first off, these pieces of gear are actually really rare. I get like 1 every 3 runs or so. It takes me about 8 No, like 6 to 12 minutes to do a dungeon, depending on which one we're doing with a group. Now, you get a bunch of these things called branding runes, and you can see each one is categorized to a different thing. So this would be for an undershirt. This is a branding rune weapon. You got branding rune shoulders. Now, I could be a little bit incorrect here, but what the branding rune basically does is it comes with a preset generic stats on it, and you can just keep fusing them together to just completely reroll the stats. So, you take 2 shoulders. So let's see if I have 2 shoulders here to show you an example. Branding rune. Let's take weapon. Strength and magic crit. Okay, these are both bad. So you can take 2 branding runes if you don't like them, fuse them together, and you get a whole new one. So basically, all you need to do is find the outline. You just need the outline for what you want, and then you throw the branding rune and just recolor the, cover over the stats. Which I think is a pretty interesting, definitely it's something different, which is kind of cool because it's like you get your perfect piece of gear, and then you're not farming for the gear anymore, you're farming for the other things, which is cool because the gear that drops out of higher end dungeons like purples and up cannot be traded except if you're in the party with someone. So it's kind of got like the Diablo loot theme style. You've got like 2 hours or something, like an hour to trade before it becomes bound. Which is kind of cool because you just farm with 3 different people and you can get loot for other classes and you just start trading. Because remember, all you need to do is get your actual gear, and then you need the branding runes. So if a second one drops, you could trade it to another guy. So I think that was pretty cool. And of course, you could always disenchant it down and you get really, really good stuff. In fact, you actually get tormented souls, or sorry, you get it's one of these. You get one of these, and these are actually used to flat out buy your piece of gear as well. So that would be the side of PvE gearing up. Now there's another set part which is like separate because there's a lot to do in Devilian. So let's bring up this other one. I think I have it actually right here. Now in this one, I wanted to do a guild event. So I told everyone, like, hey man, like, let's go run rifts. Let's see if rifts are worth running. Does it not go? Here we go. I was like, yo man, let's go run some rifts. Let's get a bunch of people out. Let's, test this out. Let's figure out the game. So we ended up doing a bunch of rifts, and the loot wasn't very good. It was okay. I think they still need to work on how rifts really distribute loot. But nonetheless, it was still fun. If you guys have ever played the game Rift, you go open, you open up the seal, and then, the whole terrain changes to that element, and then you have waves of monsters continuously until the rift is sealed. Well, after clearing a certain amount of rifts, we actually summoned I think a world boss, which as you can see is right here, Venomous Greed, which had 40 health bars and took us a very, very, very long time to kill. I'm pretty sure this guy is not really fully worked on because everything he did literally one-shot you, and I think we had like 600 cumulative deaths while trying to kill him, so we got like the whole server to come, and it was pretty nasty. The loot from him was pretty shit. But if you look on the right-hand side, there's like a contribution list, right? You see where it says participating? That participating list is based off of damage dealt, along with how many times you die. So if you die, your contribution goes down a bunch. And you get insane rewards for being in the top 3 and pretty much anything. So this game does promote, semi-good players. You do get much, much, much more rewards. So that was something that was really fun to do. And as for like PvP, because there was something later on that popped in. Let's see. I got to actually figure out when we killed him. It took a long time. Rip, I'm dead. Alright. Another one opened up, which is the same exact guy, just a little bit different telegraphs. And this one, you can see the whole terrain changed. You're permanently in your Devilian form, or Devilian form. However, it's permanent open world PvP here, which was really interesting. The whole thing was open, except for your guild. You and your guild are alliance, so it's like a guild versus guild versus guild. And in this one, you get contribution for player killing and for hitting the boss. Now, for the sake of the video, we tried our best not the video, but for the sake of actually killing the boss, because none of us are geared, we were all kind of allied together, just trying to, just learn the ropes of the game and figure out what to do. Although you can see this guy's getting hit because he's in the way, so rip him. And this guy gave the same exact rewards as the other one, except he died much quicker because naturally when you're in your Devilian form, you do much more damage. As you can see here, we're not really doing that much damage, but it picks up in the video. So those are some of the really cool aspects to do. You do have your dailies to run, so you've got daily dungeons. Later on in the game as well, as the progression keeps going, you'll have these things called Archdevil dungeons, which is a separate feature. It does not require any dungeon stamina, which I'll talk more towards later on in the video. Archdevil dungeons are like these super, super pissed off dungeons. which if I go to Arc Devil, it's right here. I actually can't even go into the 52 one, and I'm level 54, and I don't have a gear score requirement to actually enter the 52 Arc Devil dungeon. And these two ones down here are like 1,000. So that's pretty cool. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe I can. Can I show you guys the raid? No, I can't. So another feature, which is really, really, really awesome as well, is I don't know how to bring this up. Let me see. There's actually a lot of content that has to do with guilds in this game, and normally I'm kind of like up and down, but in this style, it's really, really, it seems really, really cool. You have guild dungeons that you can run only with your guild. How cool does that sound? Like, you literally get your guild together and run guild, like, specific, I'm pretty sure, completely new layouts, new bosses, completely separate to only your guild. And you have, you know, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And this supposedly is, like, insane right now, and I don't know if people have even gotten to do it yet. So this was really cool. This is something that just offered a lot of cool stuff as well into the game. Now, dungeon stamina is something I wanted to talk about. This is going to be completely reworked. But as of right now, you get 50 stamina per day. A dungeon takes 10 stamina to run, so you can run about 5 dungeons a day. But again, what they want to make it is at the end of the dungeon, you get rewarded based off how good you do. You know, the better your overall reward is, the more experience you get, and the more times you can roll this little spinner, which gives you okay stuff. It's not game breaking at all. What I suggested for them to do, I'm sure a lot of other people suggested, is make it so the stamina just is required for the bonus reward, not for the dungeon at all, because not being able to run a dungeon means you're stopped on gear progression, you're stopped on experience progression, and you're kind of at a stalemate. Like, you can do a bunch of other stuff, but dungeons are, it's one of the, you know, the focal points of the game. I think that's the word I'm looking for. And another thing to add on to as well is this game does have a Paragon system, if you guys are familiar with Diablo. If you go ahead and open up your resistance tab, well, not your, it's right next to your resistance tab, you have a proficiency tab. In your proficiency tab, you've got 5 categories: body, valor, growth, economy, Devilian. Each one kind of categorizes to something else, something separate. So body is straight up attributes: strength, intel, agility, fortitude. Valor. Valor is specific to your class. So you have like gunslinger damage increase, demolisher, opportunist, champion boss damage increase, threat increase, threat decrease, and then you have additional damage. Growth is pretty much for dungeons and the Abyssal Tower. Economy is used for, you know, general economy shit, and then you've got Devilian form. So that's pretty cool. It does take quite a lot of experience to level these things up. So it's kind of cool, just, you know, when you're grinding gear and you're max level, there's still, you know, something else that you're gaining, or like doing your dailies doesn't feel 100% useless and wasteful, because it's still fun at the end. And then the last one off the top of my head that I can think of is the Abyssal Tower, which I talked about, you know, in previous runs and stuff. And basically what the Abyssal Tower is, there we go, I actually got number 5. That's not bad. You know what, I'm gonna get higher, boys. We're gonna get like number 2 this time. I'm gonna push it, boys. We're gonna push it to the limit. I'm just kidding. All right, that was okay. But Abyssal Tower, essentially, you've got a leaderboard, and this is a way to generate cash shop currency without spending money on the game. Now, I don't want to talk about the cash shop in this video. I prefer to speak about it in another video where I can devote the entire thing towards it. I will tell you for right now, as of right now in an alpha state, the game is not pay to win. There are advantages you get for putting money into the game, such as experience boosters, which do go a long way, since there's like a Paragon system. But nothing as of right now that I can see is absolutely defining and game breaking, because you have to grind, you know, for your gear. You have to get the attribute stones to, you know, to re-roll it. Dungeon stamina is getting completely changed, so even if you were to buy stamina potions, it wouldn't fix it. Right now, in the cash shop, there are costumes that give you stats, which are completely being removed and being 100% for soul, just cosmetic appeal. Now, these first, second, and third place, you get arc gemstones, and these arc gemstones are literally like a cash shop currency. You can pretty much buy pretty much everything out of the cash shop can be used with these, at the top of my head. So that's pretty much about it. That's everything I can tell you guys off the top of my head. You know, you guys have any questions or, you know, anything you guys want to know, drop them down below. You know, let's do some knowledge bombs and whatnot. I'll probably do a like introduction to the Cannoneer class next, and maybe I can top the charts at #1, but I got to get gear first, and maybe I'll make a video for #1 build. All right, but I'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and I will see you guys all today on the live stream. Have a good one, everybody. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. So, yeah.